Listen to this from Politico. Senator John Ensign, Republican, Nevada, received a handwritten note yesterday from Joint Committee on Taxation Chief of Staff Tom Barthold confirming the penalty for failing to pay the up to $1,900 fee. You see, you're required to purchase insurance, and if you don't, you're going to be taxed under the bill being considered by the Senate. So if you don't pay the $1,900 fee, that is a tax for not buying health insurance. So what is the penalty? Violators could be charged with a misdemeanor and could face up to a year in prison or a $25,000 penalty or both. Barthold wrote on a JCT letterhead, a Joint Tax Committee letterhead. He signed it, "Sincerely, Thomas Barthold." The note was a follow-up to Ensign's questioning at the markup. You know, when I started talking about the attacks on your liberty and private property years ago, and when I wrote Liberty and Tyranny, I could see this coming, but I did not see this coming so fast. Nobody did. So for your sake, in order to ensure that you have affordable health care, they will tax you, and if you don't pay the tax or can't pay the tax, they can charge you with a misdemeanor, throw you in prison, and or charge you with $25,000 as a penalty. Now this is considered a moderate compromise health care bill. You know, my dad calls me every night. He's 84. And he wants to discuss all this stuff because it really just upsets him to no end. And I'm so worn out by that I can't discuss it anymore. And I know he'll want to mention this because this is so outrageous it's hard to take. And this is why the people of this country, are rising up. When you hear this, you don't need a leader. You don't need a cable host or a radio host. You go, what the hell is that? No, I'm not going to allow my government to do this. No, I'm not going to allow these coconuts in the Senate to pass this kind of crap and impose it on me, and not only me, my grown children. I'm not going to allow it. If you don't get government-mandated health care and don't pay for it or don't qualify for it, you're going to be fined $1,900. That's a tax. And if you don't pay that surtax, you could be charged with a federal misdemeanor and serve up to a year in prison and a $25,000 penalty? The hell is it any of their business? Oh, America. America. Is it America? I'm getting confused on this point, too. Let me see if I understand this. If I want to self-insure, that will be a crime. I got that about right? If I want to self-insure, that is not purchase insurance from anybody. I'll just take care of myself. I'm a small business, or I'm a wealthy individual, or whatever the circumstances. Or I need the money to pay for things like food and housing and an automobile and to fuel it so I can get to work, or whatever. I self-insure. But because I self-insure, meaning I have money in the bank or I'll pay as I go, I don't meet the government's mandates on what it is that I have to do for myself, mind you. Not for somebody else, for myself. That will now be a federal offense. A federal offense! With an onerous penalty of 1 year in prison and a $25,000 penalty. In America, for God's sakes. Gee, I don't remember Obama running on this. Now, I'm the one that called him out as a Marxist and took all the crap from every single quarter, including those who now call him a Marxist. Did he campaign on this? I saw these endless commercials paid for by Acorn and the SEIU and all the rest of them. I knew he had a white grandmother. I couldn't stop seeing her picture on TV. They were running that ad endlessly in Northern Virginia. And I knew John McCain was a horrible person. They kept telling me that he wanted to steal your health care. I remember that commercial, but I don't remember the commercial that said, you will either purchase insurance, the terms of which are dictated by the federal government, or you will be subject to a federal offense, prosecution, a year in jail, and a $25,000 penalty. I don't remember that commercial. I remember the white grandmother, and I remember the John McCain stuff. That's about it. I was bombarded with that. You keep opposing this stuff, folks, because there's nowhere else to go. Mark, what do? You keep up the pressure. And they're starting to feel it. Not starting, they are feeling it. The phony blue dog Democrats, the moderates. You keep the pressure on. And in the Senate, some of them who like to tap dance around the issues, this isn't one of those votes you throw to the president and you throw to your party. This issue is so crucial. But look how they treat us. They treat us like like we're guilty of something. They treat us like we owe them. They treat us like they can dictate to us. And so many of our fellow citizens sit there with their thumbs up their nose and go along. Oh, what the hell? Hey, I'm going fishing tomorrow. What are you doing? Oh, I'm going to the bowling league. Oh, great. I like that Obama. Don't agree with him, but I like him. And those Democrats and those statists and those Republicans, oh, they really look out for the little guy, don't they? Unemployment through the roof, taxes through the roof, businesses falling through the floor, home prices falling through the floor. Gee, I love compassionate statism, don't you? I mean, what next? Throw us in prison? If we don't buy a health care policy that they say we have to? No. But even if they do, it's for our own sake. Scary stuff. Every day it's something new. Every day you turn around. Now this is why that big buffoon John Kerry, that D student, doesn't want the final proposed bill released to the public 72 hours in advance of the Senate voting on it, because they don't want us to know stuff like this. And I'm sure when Obama gave that speech to the joint session of Congress, he had no idea that this kind of thing was under consideration. No. The Democrats in the Senate would never tell him what they have in mind. Would they? No. Of course they would. The White House knows exactly what's going on. That jackass Rahm Emanuel, who thinks he owns my country, who thinks it's his plaything, that jackass Rahm Emanuel, he knows this. They all know this. So the American people are going to be punished. But don't worry. Don't worry. You elderly people, you don't have to worry. Unless, of course, you get sick. Because there's just not enough money to go around. We gotta spread it to all these new people we're forcing into a system they don't want to be in. We gotta spread it around to illegal aliens. Oops, did I use that phrase? I mean undocumented immigrants who will soon be our fellow citizens. I mean, we gotta find money. We gotta spread it around. It's the only humane thing to do. And we got to cut all these tests and these procedures and these drugs and all the research and development. And there's a certain percentage of the population, really small fraction, that gets these really tough diseases and illnesses. We can't really afford to deal with that anymore. Look at the big picture. Look at the public interest. And we're all in this together. And if you don't agree, we're throwing you in prison. A misdemeanor. Up to a year and $25,000. You can live with that, can't you? I wonder what the AARP has to say about that. Oh, they're just fear-mongering and scaremongering. They would never do that. This isn't proposed legislation, ladies and gentlemen. This is the 11th hour. This isn't theoretical. This isn't scaremongering. This isn't a talking point. The senator asked what the penalty is, and he was told what the penalty is by an official committee of Congress. Well, all right.